There's a kind of power the world can't measure. It doesn't post about itself. It doesn't shout for attention. It just moves, calmly, deliberately, like it knows something the rest of us forgot. That's the Stoic Blueprint, where philosophy meets strategy, where thinking becomes a weapon and silence becomes command. The Stoics weren't trying to rule the world. They were trying to rule themselves, and that turned out to be far more difficult. They realized that before you can outthink others, you must first outthink yourself. Because let's be honest, most of your battles don't start out there. They start right here, in your own head. Principle 1. Strategic calm. Ever notice how panic spreads faster than truth? You see one person lose it, and suddenly everyone's running. The Stoics understood haste is weakness in disguise. They didn't rush, because rushing is the language of fear. Marcus Aurelius could command armies, but he also wrote, "Be like the rock that the waves keep crashing over. It stands unmoved." That's not poetry. That's strategy. The one who stays calm when everyone else is burning leads by default, because while they're reacting, you're calculating. Principle 2. Control the first reaction. You've been there. Someone says something stupid, and your brain's like, say it back, destroy them. That's your first reaction. But the Stoic pauses, even for a half breath, because in that half second, power shifts. You stop being controlled by emotion and start using it. Marcus said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Modern psychology just rebranded that as emotional regulation. It's not suppression, it's selection. You choose your move, not your mood. Principle 3. Detach to see clearly. Epictetus said, "What upsets people is not things themselves, but their judgments about them." Translation, most of what hurts you isn't real, it's interpretation. When you detach, you see that half your problems are projections. That's not coldness, that's clarity. Think of it like zooming out of your own emotions. When you stop being the piece on the board, you start playing the game. Principle 4. Think 2 moves ahead. Here's where Stoicism turns strategic. Most people just react. You offend me, I offend you back. But the Stoic asks, if I react, who wins? They observed human nature like a chessboard. They studied their impulses as much as their enemies. You can't predict every move in life, but you can predict your own weaknesses. That's how you become untouchable, not by controlling others, but by mastering what they can use against you. Principle 5. Make stillness a weapon. Stillness freaks people out. You ever stay quiet in an argument and they start unraveling just to fill the silence? That's the power of stillness. It's not passive, it's pressure. The Stoics understood that when the world gets loud, silence becomes magnetic. Because a calm mind doesn't just think clearer, it dominates the room. Stillness is the new flex. Principle 6. Mental minimalism. You don't need more thoughts. You need fewer, better ones. The Stoics didn't chase every idea, they cut away the useless ones. Seneca said, "It is impossible to learn what you think you already know." Most people can't focus because their heads are cluttered with trivia, trends, and noise. You can't build mental muscle in a messy gym. Clear mind, clear aim, clear life. Principle 7. Controlled hardship. Seneca used to sleep on the floor, not because he was broke, but because he didn't want fear to own him. He'd ask, "Is this what I feared?" That's genius, because once you face discomfort voluntarily, it can't surprise you anymore. Most people run from hard things. The Stoic runs toward them, because pain is temporary, weakness is optional. Principle 8. Reflection as routine. Marcus Aurelius didn't just rule Rome, he ruled his own thoughts. Every night, he wrote in his journal, not for followers, not for glory, but for discipline. He'd dissect his day like a surgeon. What did I do well? What did I do wrong? What did I avoid? Reflection builds awareness. Awareness builds control. That's how self-mastery starts, one honest conversation at a time. Principle 9. Logic as a shield. The Stoics worship reason, not because they didn't feel, but because they refused to be enslaved by feeling. They'd ask, is this within my control? If yes, act. If not, release. That single filter can erase half your anxiety. Logic isn't cold, it's armor, and it's forged in truth. Principle 10. Lead yourself first. You can't command others until you can command yourself. The Stoic didn't need followers. Their calm attracted them. They didn't shout to prove strength. They embodied it. Because real power isn't loud. It's presence. It's the quiet confidence that needs no validation. That's what it means to think like a philosopher and act like a strategist. To walk through chaos and remain unshaken. To face manipulation, pressure, failure, and still stand tall. Because in the end, Stoicism isn't about control over the world. It's about control over the one thing the world keeps trying to steal, your mind. And when you master that, you don't need to conquer anyone. They start conquering themselves in your presence.